The following is a production of Florida State University's Office of University Communications. Coming up on FSU Headlines, FSU entrepreneurship gets a new home with the grand opening of a state-of-the-art business incubator. Florida State's College of Business inducts its newest class of Hall of Famers. And it's graduation day at the ballpark. Florida State honors its student athletes on their home turf. Stay tuned for these stories and more. FSU Headlines starts now. Hello and welcome to another edition of FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker, coming to you from the campus of Florida State University here in Tallahassee. Now boarding, the innovation train runs right through this campus and has for decades. Now it has a new stop, Domi Station. Take a look at one of Florida State University's many tools for entrepreneurial domination. Domi Station. With a 21st century focus on entrepreneurial education for all majors, Florida State recently joined forces with Leon County and Domi Station, a new Tallahassee-based business incubator designed to nurture and grow promising business ideas. Domi offers students and faculty an opportunity to grow their startup companies. Florida State has reserved space at Domi for students and faculty to grow their startups.
Florida State University has about a couple thousand staff and a couple thousand faculty and has tens of thousands of students. A lot of these folks have really good ideas, whether it's for developing a new drug, developing a new iPhone app, or maybe developing a business enterprise. We're really good at teaching, we're really good at research, we provide a lot of service to the community. We don't have a lot of expertise, sort of the on-the-ground practical expertise to allow for the transition of those ideas into meaningful products or business. This is that opportunity for us, and that's why we're a part of this and we're working with the folks at Domi. When I look at this, it's not just FSU, it's FAMU, it's TCC. We work really well with those institutions. We partner with them on some of the technology, some of the business. So there's folks that are working together. So it's pretty exciting to have something like that that's going to be pulling folks together from the institutions in the same entity under the same roof. And I would expect that there will be synergies that will be created that go beyond the business, that translate back into the classroom or translate back into the research laboratory.
And for your ticket to ride or just for some more information, visit domiventures.co. A Florida State University study could be a game changer when it comes to recycling fuel.
So this is the sample right here. That's a photograph of the sample, but that was the...
Florida State University Professor of Chemistry Thomas Albrecht Schmidt is conducting groundbreaking research on the element californium. He's leading an international team of researchers that could change how the world stores radioactive waste and recycles fuel. In carefully choreographed experiments using crystals, Albrecht Schmidt and his colleagues found that californium has amazing abilities to bond and separate other materials. They also found it was extremely resistant to radiation damage. These discoveries could help build new storage containers for radioactive waste.
The issue with nuclear energy is that when we put a fuel rod assembly into a reactor, we only get about 1% of the available energy out of it before issues in the fuel as the result of the fissioning of the fuel kind of ruin the fuel. So we need to develop technologies that recycle this fuel.
After spending much of their time researching and studying, Florida State University students finally get a chance to show off their work during the annual Undergraduate Research Symposium.
Thank you all for coming this morning. Today is the 14th annual Undergraduate Research Symposium.
More than 200 Florida State undergraduate student research projects were on display in the newly built Honors, Scholars, and Fellows House. It's a showcase of the work of students from all across campus. Topics covered in the open house style event ranged from urban development in Tallahassee to the exploration of gender stereotypes in comic books. This year's symposium presented the largest amount of exhibits in the 14-year history of the symposium. That bodes well for the future of undergraduate research at FSU.
I would say over the last 10 years or so, we've seen a tremendous increase in the amount of students interested in undergraduate research, and this is at Florida State, but it's also around the country, that students are looking for undergraduate research as an opportunity to engage with their academic discipline and to learn more and to challenge themselves more.
Florida State University offers its students a unique opportunity to study overseas through its nationally ranked international programs. But did you know that students have even more opportunities to travel and conduct research abroad? The Global Scholars Program is now in its third year, and it helps students secure summer internships at nonprofit organizations based in developing countries around the world. The goal is to help its students engage in meaningful research while becoming active citizens of the world. From Ghana to India and many places in between, global scholars are able to choose from over 100 internship placements at a wide range of community organizations located in Central and South America, as well as Africa and Asia. A group of 28 students will be living in 12 different countries this summer. They'll complete research projects and also teach English to children in those developing areas.
I've always wanted to travel abroad, and I've always been really interested in international aid and things like that, so I figured it was a perfect program for me. So I'll be going to Ho, Ghana, which is on the western coast of Africa, and in coordination with a local non-for-profit organization there, I helped design a public health water sanitation project. So that's what we're going to be implementing over there. We're going to try to install about 5 water filtration systems into different local municipality schools. And also while I'm over there for my capstone project, I really want to do an anthropological survey of how each village views water sanitation and public health.
In Ghana, I'm going to be a teacher's aide with Mawuvio Outreach Program. I'll be a teacher's aide mostly throughout the day, but being a creative writing major and a communications major, I'm really passionate about just kind of culture and identity, learning who we are as people, like where we stem from. And so some of the projects that I'll be doing there more personally is kind of like the connection between Africans and African American people in America. And so that's going to be kind of my creative endeavor that I'm going to be doing. I've always wanted to have an effect on people, and I feel like this type of immersion, just sitting back and just allowing myself to process this new environment, I feel like that'll help me like in the long run with future endeavors that I want to do.
We've had the fortune of being able to travel internationally and actually live and work overseas, and coming back to the U.S. realized it gives you another dimension. I think if you only stay within your little community or just within the U.S., it's two-dimensional. To go abroad, it opens your eyes. It just gives you a whole nother perspective of other cultures, of other life, other opportunities, and I want students to be able to experience that.
I think to be successful, you have to have a perspective, and if your perspective is broad and global, then I think you can see where the real horizon is. Not just the near horizon, but the far horizon. And I think people come back changed. My wife and I lived overseas when we were in our early 30s, and it changed who we were and how we saw the world and how we perceived everything. And we feel like if you can do that as a young student, then your entire perspective and your willingness to give and to excel is just profoundly changed.
And since its inception, more than 69 students have participated in the Global Scholars Program at Florida State University. Well, coming up next on FSU Headlines, we'll introduce you to one of this year's FSU College of Business Hall of Famers.
I pull into my space every morning. I say today, every day, you need to earn the right to keep this job.
Meet Cindy Murray when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
A spirit roams these parts, a spirit of respect, competition, and academic greatness. Some call our spirit myth, others call it legend. We call it Florida State University.
When you purchase a Florida State University license plate, you're supporting students, like me. Tag, you're in.
Hello and welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm your host, Dennis Schnittker. How did a Florida State University alumna and recent College of Business Hall of Fame inductee earn the title Turnaround Executive? Well, as Mark Vaughn explains, through hard work and by having a passion for business.
When I pull into my space every morning, I say today, every day, you need to earn the right to keep this job.
Cindy Murray is passionate about her work as the president of worldwide women's clothing retailer, Chico's.
I oversee deciding what the next collection's going to be in the next collection, deciding the colors and the aesthetic, as well as worrying about manufacturing in 10 other countries and when are the shipments coming in.
During a career in retail that spans 35 years, she's helped to build the brands of some of the biggest names in the industry. But to really know how she got to where she is today, you have to go back a few years.
Well, I would consider myself a Florida girl. Technically, I was raised in upstate New York, but my family moved down here when I was 5 or 6.
A Florida girl full of ambition, even at an early age. Cindy says she found her calling as a child at summer camp.
We went up to the North Carolina mountains, and it was really, I would say, of all the things in my life, the most life-changing.
And Cindy was a natural as a camp leader.
For me, at the time I didn't know it, but it was the beginning of my developing as a leader. Because even within, as you know, any organization of young folks, someone's got to lead the team.
While her time at camp was a seminal moment in her life, it was a conversation with her father that led her to her calling.
My grandmother and grandfather had an interior design business in Buffalo, New York, where I was from, and she had a tremendous influence on me. And so, as excited as I was, my father had other ideas. And he felt really strongly that I needed to get a business degree, and thank heavens he led me in that direction.
Once she decided business was the right choice, it only took one visit to Florida State University to realize that's where she'd hone her skills.
I went to the business school, I met some folks in some of the Greek system, and immediately fell in love with the energy on campus.
While earning her business degree, Cindy also developed people skills that still serve her to this day.
When I moved to Atlanta to take my first position, it was so easy for me to get on a sales floor and start talking to people, because for 4 years I had been speaking in the business school, I had been engaged in many presentations in my sorority, so we were constantly getting out there, opening up a conversation with others and engaging them.
Cindy started her career by moving through the retail ranks one step at a time, as she developed a knowledge of the retail business from seemingly every perspective.
So at a very, very early point, I learned how to construct a garment, how to put a line together. Fundamentals to this day are absolutely instrumental in helping me with, teaching others at a fundamental level.
From Senior Vice President at Talbot's to Chief Merchandising Officer at Stage Stores and now President of Chico's, Murray has held several key leadership positions during her career.
I've got over 10,000 associates, over 700 stores, and we ship more than 40 million units.
She is well known in the business world as a turnaround executive because everywhere she goes, the company enjoys substantial improvement. Under her leadership, Chico's, which has more than 700 retail stores, has seen an increase in profit, gross margin, and contribution margin.
I have a reputation for someone who's able to come in and really understand the customer and assess the situation and really find the best talent, build a team, and turn a business around.
And she's able to turn around businesses by creating a culture of empowerment for her associates.
I've just always believed that you can lead with integrity, lead with your heart, treat people with respect, and deliver results. And so I have now the opportunity to show a company and a team that we can do it, and we're doing it. Our wedding day, so
that I do remember.
That you do remember, lots and lots of memories.
While she encourages others, Cindy gets her encouragement at home. Just like her parents and grandparents' early influences, Cindy says it's her family, especially her husband Herschel Murray, that continues to motivate her now.
Family is everything to me, and one of my heroes in life is my husband, who is a retired Army and 3 tours of Vietnam, is one of the most highly decorated officers out there.
With a loving family and a successful business career, Cindy Murray says she has a lot to be thankful for.
Literally, every morning discipline myself to write down 4 things I'm grateful for, and sometimes I get to 5, 6, or 7. I'm like, I gotta go. Life is good, right?
In our next story, Florida State University students show off their entrepreneurial spirit. Florida State University students showcase their business plans at the Student Entrepreneur Expo. In the past, this expo has been limited to students in the sophomore experience class, but this year it was wide open to any student regardless of major. The expo gives students a chance to put their business skills on display. They're able to build a customer base and learn about the dynamics of the business world and even make sales with their unique products.
Our students have been tuned into entrepreneurship for quite a while. There are entrepreneurs in every college on this campus. There's never been the facility to bring them together. We've only been able to do it in the College of Business because that's what we teach there. But now with them in engineering and communication, as you said, music, the fine arts, all over campus we have entrepreneurs.
Speaking of business, Florida State University's annual Innovation Challenge gives 10 Florida State student-run businesses the chance to pitch their business plans to successful entrepreneurs. The competition is based on the popular TV show Shark Tank, where entrepreneurs pitch their business ideas to successful business owners in hopes of gaining capital for their startups. The competition is designed to give graduate and undergraduate Florida State students with a big idea the chance to win funding to help launch their businesses.
Students don't really know how to speak to investors, and they don't know how to ask for money, and that's really a serious hurdle for businesses to get started, and that's why we culminate the entire event with a Shark Tank competition where, while we're not having our judges give them money per se, we have them act as though they were investing, and then they sort of vote accordingly.
Based on the results, the FSU College of Business's Jim Moran Institute divided $25,000 in funding among the final 10 teams. Florida State junior Nick O'Donnell won the challenge and won close to $8,000 in funding. His company, Wavelet, takes sound waves and designs jewelry around them.
The best word is encouraging, very encouraging to see these people who have made it in the world believe in me. That's more than anything. That by itself is just a huge blessing to me.
Well, still to come on FSU Headlines, we head to the Diamond, where a pair of Florida State teams make a run at the College World Series.
Goes to show you what can happen. You just never know. You just never know.
It's playoff time in Tallahassee when FSU Headlines continues in a moment. Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker. The sports scene at Florida State comes to an end for the school year, and a pair of FSU teams are fighting to the very end. We begin on the softball diamond, where FSU Headlines reporter Sam Lane joins us now with more on the remarkable run by the Seminoles. Sam?
That's right, Dennis. It certainly was a remarkable run by the Florida State women's softball team. In fact, the Seminoles had not made it to the Women's College World Series in 10 seasons. Some of the players on this year's team were still in elementary school the last time the Seminoles played for a Women's College World Series title. Well, that streak snapped this year, and it snapped in dramatic fashion. After sweeping the regionals, the trip to Oklahoma City came down to a decisive third game in the Super Regionals against Michigan. Tied at 2 in the bottom of the 7th, senior Courtney Cenas, in her last home at-bat in the Seminole uniform, blasted a 2-run home run to secure FSU's spot in the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2004.
Right when it was hit, I fell to the ground like, oh my gosh, we literally just did this. But then afterwards, just complete elation.
In Oklahoma City, Florida State put up a fight but was unable to come away with wins against top-seeded Oregon and Baylor. Florida State finishes the year 55-9. The 55 wins are the most in 1 year for the Florida State softball team since the 2004 season.
And we finally got here, and I think we've opened up a door for a lot of things to happen in the future. And Lacey and Jessica Burrows, they're going to come back and be a 1-2 punch, and I know the Noles aren't going to stop here. This was just a stepping stone, and next year we're not just going to be here, but we're going to be here and we're going to compete here.
Individually, junior pitcher Lacey Waldrop is named college softball's Player of the Year. Congratulations to the Florida State softball team for a great season. Well, for the Florida State baseball team, when Memorial Day weekend rolls around, that usually means one thing here in Tallahassee. It's playoff time. The Seminoles advanced to college baseball's postseason for the 51st time this season and was one of 16 schools selected as a host site for the 64-team field. Florida State earned the 5th seed in this year's tournament and opened postseason play against Georgia Southern. However, the Florida State Bats went cold in the warm temperatures in Tallahassee. Florida State was shut out by the Georgia Southern Eagles in the regional opener 7-0, and then lost to Alabama in an elimination game the following day, 6-5. Florida State finishes the season with a 43-17 record. Florida State ends the year with at least 40 wins for the 37th year in a row, while clinching the ACC's Atlantic Division title for an 8th straight year.
Our guys battled and got back in it, and unfortunately, we came up a little short. But goes to show you what can happen. You just never know.
It just didn't go our way. Everybody, it's not like anybody gave up or anybody gave in or anything like that. It's just things didn't go our way.
Florida State University graduated roughly 6,000 students this past semester. And as always, commencement ceremonies were held inside the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center at Florida State University. But a few students were unable to attend commencement. But don't worry, they had an excused absence.
Tonight, we pay tribute to our graduating seniors who have worked hard to earn their degrees and who are about to embark on new journeys. On behalf of Florida State University and those who gathered here tonight, we congratulate you.
Due to the baseball team having a game on the same days, several members of the team were unable to take part in the commencement ceremonies. So, prior to Florida State's baseball game against Duke, interim president Garnet Stokes held a special commencement ceremony for the baseball players who graduated this year, but were unable to make it to commencement because of their game. Dressed in their graduation best, Justin Gonzalez, Gage Smith, Brandon Johnson, Casey Smith, Peter Miller, Ladson Montgomery, and Brett Knief were able to turn their tassels from right to left in front of family, friends, and teammates and have a somewhat traditional graduation. Well, that's going to do it for a look at Florida State athletics. Dennis, back to you.
All right, thank you for that update, Sam. In other news, you might be surprised by what you find in a college student's room, but what's more surprising is what those students throw out at the end of the year. Fortunately, Florida State University's Chuck It for Charity program makes one man's trash another one's treasure.
Chuck It for Charity is a partnership program between Sustainable Campus and Housing and Residence Life to collect all the stuff that students don't want to take home with them when they move out of their residence halls. And in turn, we give it to a bunch of community organizations to help the people that they help. Right now, you can see students sort of sorting through it all. They're breaking it up into our many different categories, and then we're just weighing it and sorting it. Next week, our community agency partners will come and retrieve all of their donations. Our biggest sections are furniture, plastic storage bins. We get a lot of books, we get a lot of electronics, bedding. The majority, I would say, a lot of things that stick out are lamps and plastic storage bins. We get more plastic storage bins than we knew existed. It is my favorite 2 weeks of the year. It is the hardest 2 weeks, and we are physically exhausted and a little emotionally exhausted. But it's awesome knowing that we can save all these things from the landfill and in turn give them to people who could use them, need them. So our community organizations are really supportive, and we even have one of our partners here today. And they make me feel great about it. So it's really, in a very exhausting way, really heartwarming to be able to do all this.
Chuck It for Charity helped us launch our clothing donation center. So the first batch 5 years ago helped us launch the program, and now it's a full-blown operation to raise about $30,000 a year. And that helps for every person I can hire. That's 100 more kids that I can provide mentors to, and they're off the waiting list.
A lot of different people at the same time had the same idea about the amount of trash that's usually left over when students are moving out, and that's a problem for a lot of different reasons. It makes the campus look bad. It invited a lot of dumpster divers. We knew it was a problem, and so if we could get the usable stuff before students took it to the dumpster, then we could save it and donate it and really reduce the amount of trash and litter that's around the residence halls during move out.
A gingerbread set, which I want to take home and make. I like the fact that we can connect sort of the university and the community, and then ideals and principles of sustainability, which are things that I believe in through the Office of Sustainability, and connect it all into one big program at the end of the year. And we do so much good. There's tons and tons of stuff that's donated and collected, and tons of hard work that's being put into organizing the event and distributing all the stuff that we collect to all the wonderful charities in the community. Sometimes a lot of students get caught up in like the bubble of campus, and it's great to see the community and how it thrives off of the university sometimes.
Chuck It for Charity is a partnership between FSU Sustainable Campus and Housing and Residence Life. It's held at the end of each spring semester. This year they collected almost 15 tons of reusable and recyclable material that would have otherwise gone into the landfill. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of FSU Headlines, but you can see more news from Florida State University anytime at Florida State 24/7. It's the official news website of Florida State University, and you can find it at news.fsu.edu. On behalf of everyone here at Florida State University, I'm Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.